you are. Very, very good to see you. Come on in. Welcome to Alive. Okay, I have a very fun question for you today. When was the last time you played? No agenda, no goal, nothing to prove, just for the fun of it, played. And how did that feel? Right? Yeah. There's tea, if you'd like some tea. Okay, let's have some tea. So, here's the thing about play. I think it gets a bad rap. I do. Because play feels extra. It feels frivolous. It feels like something you do instead of doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing, right? I mean, it's fun, sure, but something about it feels extracurricular. Here you go. But the thing is, I'm not buying it. I'm not. And maybe it has something to do with my former gig, but to me, play feels important. It does. It feels like it's often the opposite of frivolous. There's a power there. It has something to do with wonder and something to do with curiosity mixed with joy at the same time. I don't know. It's difficult to define, but for me, there's something essential and perhaps forgotten about play. So my question for you today is what? What is the power of play? What do you think? Very interesting. Yes. Let's go. Boop. Ow, my knee. Ow. Okay. Our guest today, I'm very excited about, is Cas Holman, who is a designer and educator, toy inventor, and playground builder. Something I aspire to be honest. She believes play is serious business and has spent years asking, what does play teach us about collaboration? What can children show adults about problem solving? And how might play be not just entertainment, but actual preparation for being an alive human being? Her work has been celebrated everywhere from the Museum of Modern Art to her new book, Playful: How Play Shifts Our Thinking, Inspires Connection, and Sparks Creativity. I read a good bit of this, and it's fantastic, actually. So the book itself explores why play isn't just like extra credit or extracurricular or what you're doing when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, but it's actually one of the most essential human instincts we've got. Oh, wait, she's here. All right. Hey, Cas. Hi, Cas.
Oh, hi. Hey.
Hey, how you doing? What are you doing? You just doing some...
Yeah, I was just out wandering around. It's beautiful out here.
Doing some hiking over there?
I might have stepped in some bear poop.
It's entirely possible. There is
Sorry about the smell.
That's okay. I can't smell it. That's fine. And it's all part of nature anyway. But yeah, it's like...
Yeah, can you hang out?
Yeah, let's hang out. Thanks for stopping by the porch. I'm glad you happened by.
Yeah, there's some birds brought me this way. I was kind of just like following some moss. I don't know.
Yeah, I tend to follow the moss. Follow the moss is like a really good sort of life strategy, I feel.
That'll be the next book.
Anyway, it's already delightful to speak to you. And you and I do have some DNA in common. You've made your work studying play. I've made my career sort of modeling it, There's probably a lot of wonder as part of our job descriptions,
Yeah.
And so I'm looking really forward to hearing more of your perspective on the subject of play. But before we get super duper duper into it, let's get a little let's stay a little broad for the people who haven't worked in children's television or playground design. What's your best definition? What is play, and why does it matter so much to adult human people?
Yeah. Play is extremely broad and means different things to different people. I think at its simplest, play is something that's done for joy. Usually, it's something that we're drawn to instinctively. The type of play that I design for and that the book is about is free play, which is different than sports or games or video games. In that it is typically open-ended, meaning that there's not a right or wrong way to do it. We're not playing in order to win or get a score or kind of level up. So there's kind of a difference between intrinsically motivated play or other activities and extrinsically motivated play. So an extrinsic motivation might be, again, like a score, or in school, we're extrinsically motivated with grades. A lot of times, I think, as adults, a lot of our lives are extrinsically motivated by some devices that kind of are trying to inspire us or motivate us to get in more steps, right? So even something that like is assessing how much we're playing becomes its own extrinsic motivator and might make us a little bit less in touch with what we're intrinsically interested in doing. So free play, and I borrow this definition from play work, which is actually a profession of adults who work in playgrounds. We have a few in the U.S. and there are quite a few in the U.K. But their definition of free play and kind of play in general is intrinsically motivated, freely chosen, and guided by instinct.
I see. So free play is less outcome oriented, right? And you're playing for the sake of playing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Now, is free play more of a kid thing, or is that kind of something that adults also sort of do instinctively, or what?
I think children will free play without prompt. I think, we see this with cardboard boxes. We see this when we put them out in nature and they're, rearranging some sticks for hours, and then it becomes a fort, and then they kind of playhouse in the fort, and then they need to turn it into a lemonade stand. So they find the sticks right? So it's just, it's a flow. And adults, I think we spend a lot of our school years learning to not play and shifting our motivation and shifting our priorities toward outcome. Yeah. And so I think it gets harder and harder to free play because we think we need to be doing something productive. We get a little bit wrapped up in does this have value? And so it's kind of, for a lot of us, really hard to access what is intuitively motivated because it's just kind of a muscle that's maybe atrophied, or we've like kind of learned to not listen to that.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean,
yeah,
I firmly believe that play, that wonder, the ability to wonder, which I think is actually something even more than play, right? Is inherent. I think it's a superpower of sorts that we're born with as babies, in the same way that we're born with like a grasping instinct. We absolutely need it because we know nothing when we're babies. We literally know nothing. So we have to wonder beyond what we understand to understand more. It's like we didn't learn to wonder, we wondered to learn, right? So
yeah, wonder and curiosity feel intertwined in that way.
For sure, but I think it bums me out how effectively the school system sort of unlearns that for us.
Yeah.
You know much more about this than me, but I've heard a statistic where it's like little kids in preschool will ask like a gazillion questions in a day, but by the time they're in fourth grade, it's like 2.
Yeah.
And by the time they're in high school, they're like, leave me alone.
Well, I think, they learn that questions are about answers, and wonder and curiosity isn't necessarily about answers.
Yeah.
If you love learning and the world is changing quickly, you're all right? You're very adaptable. So I like to separate learning and education, because I don't think it's learning that kills play. I think that our systems for education, which is what most schools look like, are kind of what kind of kill the curiosity and the play, because questions are supposed to have one answer.
Yeah.
Right? And wonder and curiosity don't live in right and wrong. Yeah. They live in the experience of witnessing, of being present and just kind of gazing at the stars, or of what you can find in yourself when you're allowed to be bored.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's, what a bummer that is, in a way.
Yeah.
What do you think that is? I mean, it seems clear to me that as adults, there is value, and tremendous value in valuing certainty, right? I get it. Yeah. But why does that have to happen at the expense of wonder? And why do we set up our education system to value one and sort of trivialize the other?
Uncertainty is scary.
Yeah.
And I think we like to think that we can fix things. I think we are problem solvers by nature. Mm-hmm. And we perceive uncertainty as a problem to be solved. And it's not. We can't. One of the things that is really, I think, powerful about free play is that we're comfortable in uncertainty and in kind of looking at something and saying, like, well, what are all the different ways this could go? Those all relate to being more comfortable in uncertainty, because we can't fix it. We can't change that there's going to be uncertainty in life.
Okay, for real, you don't have to struggle to find the perfect holiday gift. You don't, because Aura frames exist. They're digital picture frames that you can preload with all sorts of pictures of you and your partner, of your dog, of your cat with you and your dog and your partner, whatever feels right to you. And they're super easy to use. My mom figured out how to use an Aura picture frame, and she's legitimately bad at this sort of thing. So for a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver Mat frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using promo code ALIVE at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code ALIVE. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames sell out fast. So order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. So, does your family have any holiday traditions? Like mine, we do like a tacky Christmas present award. And then another tradition we have is chaos, utter chaos. And it can be really overwhelming. And actually, I've decided to make it a holiday tradition to get some quiet time and reflect about the real meaning of the holidays. So if you are someone who gets overwhelmed by the holidays and is looking for a little clarity, why not try BetterHelp online therapy this December as a way to close the year with clarity instead of chaos? The BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed in the U.S. They've got over 30,000 therapists, and it really can be that first step. They have an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for a live session. That's based on 1.7 million reviews. So, this December, start a new tradition by taking care of you. Our listeners get 10% off at betterhelp.com/SteveAlive. That's betterhelp.com/SteveAlive.
The holidays are here, and I would argue that means therapy is more important than ever. But finding the right therapist can be really difficult. Finding the right match can indeed be a hard thing to do, but ZocDoc can help you find the right therapist by providing you options and details to help you find the right fit, to find that person that will help you break patterns and push you past your current limitations. They've got over 100,000 high-quality doctors, and it's not just mental health. It's everything from mental health to dental health to primary care, urgent care, and more. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/alive to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/alive. ZocDoc.com/alive.
I love what you said about play is comfort with uncertainty. I dig that. I think that's right. That sounds real to me because that's what kids do, right? They don't know anything. So the whole world is uncertainty. So, and you know, the adage is that play is the work of childhood and that the playground is their office. And when they encounter uncertainty, they instinctively invite it to play. Right? That's what they do. That's their methodology for
I don't know what this
through.
is. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to taste it. I'm going to smash it. I'm going to throw it, right? These are all ways of exploring a thing and trying to understand it without like needing to understand it, right?
Yeah.
They kind of want to get to know it, but they don't expect to then have mastered it. I think some of our adult hangups with play is also the instinct to need to know things. So I think we also become less curious or less comfortable with uncertainty because we think that once we're done with school, we're done learning.
Yeah. Well, why do you think adults, specifically adults, learn to devalue play? It sounds like what you're saying, everything you're saying sounds like it would be incredibly useful to an adult who faces uncertainty and who faces a difficult job and has to figure out a Canva doc and has to do all of these things. So what happens to us?
Priorities. And the idea that we need to be productive. Yeah. And we don't value play, so we think that it's like, I don't have time to dilly-dally. We got to get there, And so one of the things I talk about in the book is kind of reframing success. Yep. So we get stuck on ideas of what success is, whether that's like, in your day, like success means I'm going to sit still for 8 hours and answer emails. That's an idea we have of what our work day is supposed to look like, but that's not a very human thing. And so if we prioritize our well-being, which would also mean playing, letting yourself dilly-dally, go, rearrange your shelf of knickknacks if that feels good, or even approach learning Canva as playing with it. Let me just go in here and kind of play rather than feeling like, this is this other thing that I have to learn in order to do this thing. And I already feel stupid because I don't know how to do it. And this comes up so much, especially like, my mom with her smartphone was really intimidated and I would help her through it. And when I help her with things, like we kind of stop and I say, all right, so let's approach this as a thing you're figuring out, right? Like it hopefully is intuitive, but it's going to be a new thing. So this is also back to loving learning. If you love learning, then you're going to approach it probably as play and be more willing to kind of say, I don't have to already know this. I get to not know this in order to approach it and really just take the time it takes to play with it and be comfortable with it so I can then use it as a tool.
Your mom's very lucky.
Yeah.
The play mindset that you're sort of describing that reframes success and values mistakes, and that sounds to me a little like the scientific process. It seems like it relates to that, right? Because in the scientific process, doing wrong does not mean being wrong, and mistakes are the beginning, not the end. And I'm wondering how you think those things relate.
And this is something that I kind of call play testing.
Play testing, what's that?
playtesting. So playtesting is like kind of going into something to see how it goes. Typically it's with other people. But to say like we're all invested in making this work, and curious about what we can learn while we're doing it.
Yeah.
So when I play test a new design, I have an idea, and of course, like I've been working on it. It's my design. I'm not a human without an ego, so I want it to work, and I think it'll work. But I go in and say like, I don't know, maybe it won't work, and elements of it will work, and elements won't work. And if I've kind of like if I've embraced possibilities, which is another element that I think can help adults, embracing possibilities, I'm open to what I can discover along the way, right? So, there's famous quotes about Edison saying that he didn't fail 1,000 times on his way to the light bulb. He invented 1,000 ways to not make the light bulb, which he had to learn on the way to getting one that worked, right? So in each experiment, success wasn't that it worked. Success was that he learned from what didn't work.
There's a great, you'll know what I'm talking about. Because I don't, but there's an experiment. There's a famous experiment. It was like with marshmallows or something, and they gave all these different groups of people marshmallows, and they were like CEOs and engineers and fancy people and preschoolers, and they said like, build a tower out of these marshmallows and sticks of spaghetti and make it as high as you can, and like the engineers won, but preschoolers beat a lot of people. Like they did really, really, they made the playoffs for sure. Yeah. Because they were thinking differently, right? They were thinking with a play mindset and beyond assumptions and all of that, right?
Yeah. And unlike most adults, children are really good at uncertainty, but stepping into something that they don't know how to do. Yeah. One of the designs that I've spent the most time with is something called Rigamajig, which is a giant building set. Yeah, thank you. And when we were first playtesting Rigamajig, we had it out. I designed it originally for the Highline Park in New York. Yeah. So we had this little section where we brought everything out and made sure that there were going to be some families there. And the kids just dove in. Nobody had ever seen it before. This was the first time, in public. And kids just dove in and started making things. And some of them were, contraptions, and some were just, big hot messes. There was a elephant thing being made by a group of kids. And the adults, we were saying, like, go ahead, you can play also. And they kind of hung back, and I could feel they were kind of threatened, like, what do I do? They were really uncomfortable diving into something that they hadn't seen. And as I talked to people and then continued my own, into the book and also working with students as a professor, I came to really kind of understand and then try to design for the fact that adults, again, like I said, like we feel like we should know everything. Yep. So when we encounter something that's unfamiliar, rather than kind of diving in and playing with it or exploring it or, figuring it out, we kind of hang back because we're afraid we'll look silly or we'll look dumb because we don't know. And I just think that's such a bummer. And there are ways that we can like work on that and be more comfortable saying, well, cool, I don't know what that is. Let's dive in and figure it out and not be worried about how you look or whether or not, you're the expert and the child is the novice, right? With Rigamajig, it kind of flips because the children are experts at figuring out. And often the adults are less fluent in that. Yeah,
it's the beginner's mind, right?
Yeah, exactly.
In the beginner's mind, there's a gajillion possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are a few, There are a few. And it's not only a bummer, though, Cas. I think it's also just not wise. This is a superpower that we have that we back burner till we forget. And it's still there. I'm living proof that you can go get it back. Right? I don't think I had it. I don't think I had it like I had it when I was 5, but I've been able to reconnect to a sense of wonder in my life. And I can, in my life, I've made it a practice, you work at it and it's worth it. Which is the next thing I want to talk to you about is one of my favorite sections in this book is you go through different play types for adults. Like, and I thought it was a little horoscopy in a way. I was like, that's me. That's who I am, But I was wondering if you could walk us through some of the different play types that for adults that you've outlined. Like, talk to me about the meditative play type.
Meditative play. So this started with, I had been working with what was called play types that were also kind of developed by play workers who observe children playing. Mm-hmm. And in designing for play and in teaching design for play with students of design and students of early education, I just kind of used them by default. I was like, these are the play types. And when I started writing the book and trying to, help adults get back to their play and connect with their play, I realized that they didn't actually work. The children's play types didn't work for adults because, something that's risky for a child, like wandering 20 feet from their adult, or jumping off of, getting to a high point and jumping off of a tall rock or something, climbing a wall at a playground. That's not risky for adults. But even more striking, I think, what is risky for adults is playing. Like, being publicly silly is a risk because we're so afraid of looking silly or being judged. Yeah. And we also, we judge ourselves. Yeah. And so one of the things that I kind of am trying to kind of coach people toward in the book is releasing judgment.
Oh, that's so hard.
It is. It's really hard. And also, it's so worth it. When you can remember, it's okay. And if somebody thinks that I look weird, that's not on me. That's on them, right? So, with the play types, I also was looking at how we currently play, and trying to, I think, help adults realize that we do play in a lot of ways, and in some ways we don't maybe value it enough to prioritize it or let ourselves play because it's not connected to making money. I think a lot of our priorities are related to capital. So, if you remove the idea that productive means making money, it's very productive to, do a puzzle. So meditative play might be something like taking a walk in the woods.
Oh, that's me.
Right. It might be actually meditating. It might be kind of doing something that's really embodied, where you're connecting to yourself. It's a little bit close to what I call attention play, which I think is really would be really valuable for adults to practice. It's like letting yourself be bored, right? Mm. So daydreaming, or what I think a lot of what you've described as wonder might be kind of attention play, like daydreaming or bird watching. For me, I do attention play a lot on the subway. I live in New York, so I love people watching, and it's a thing. It's very in our right now. I think it's related to just don't look at your phone, right? Like just like in the moment where we're like, okay, I'm got on the train, and then people sit down, and instead of letting ourselves linger or be bored for a second in order to then engage in attention play and start noticing, like, oh, how is that? Why is that bar up there instead of down here? Like, as a designer, I'm always looking at how things are made, or people watching, oh, are they on a first date, or is that like, is that a, what's going on there, right? Or like making up stories about where people are coming from. Or just daydreaming, thinking about or reflecting on something you just came from, lingering in an interaction you had at the coffee shop, right? So attention play can kind of be somewhat meditative, but they're a little bit related. And I think for adults, we're really far from them now because we don't let ourselves linger in what could be described as boredom before we engage in some type of play.
Before we get to the rest of them, I want to talk a little bit more about the phone.
Yeah.
Can't that be attention play, even if it's not terribly productive? Like, aren't you playing with your attention if you are just kind of scrolling and going down a rabbit hole? And
yeah, and this is where I think the difference between free play and play, right? Mm-hmm. So in free play is generative. Mm-hmm. And I like to differentiate, and I would even go so far as to say that there's a difference between play and entertainment. So a lot of the ways that people play on their phone is consuming something that was designed by somebody else. And so you're consuming, you're being kind of entertained, which might make you laugh, but you're not generating it.
Got it.
It's not inspiring you to tap into your own ideas or memories or wishes. It's feeding you something, right?
Yeah.
So consuming versus consumption versus like participatory or generative play, where it asks something of you and it's bringing something out of you, which feels really different than after you've kind of just consumed for a while.
Yeah. So entertainment is the world engaging with you. Play is you engaging with the world, right? You're moving that way.
I would make even a slight change to that. I don't think entertainment is the world engaging with you.
It's
I think
something
it's like
dictating your attention. It's something controlling.
It's a singular vision. It's somebody's story. Often they're beautiful things, beautiful films and things that might very playful things happening on social media. But it doesn't typically ask anything of you.
Right. You've got no skin in the game.
It's a way of checking out of the world, right? I enter this world instead of being present in the world that's around me, which is actually the world that can help us remember we're part of a community and we're not alone and we're going to be okay. Like I absolutely identify with and talk to a lot of people who have the instinct when they're just like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm super tired, I dropped off the kids, I went to work, I have to do the groceries, I have to do things. And they're like, I just want to check out. Like, Cas, don't make me engage in something that asks anything of me. And I get that. And when you check out of the world you're in, it doesn't actually like make you feel, for the most part, my very anecdotal study of absolutely everyone I talk to, nobody feels better afterward, right?
No,
in a way that if you just like take a beat and like look at the world around you, whether it's maybe it's birds, maybe it's, so again, attention play, maybe you're inventing a story. It also, I think, it kind of replenishes you and grounds you in the world that we live in, which is the one in front of us, And I think that goes a long way for feeling connected and like you are, in fact, in community with other people.
Do you have a specific decor style? I do. I'm kind of wabi-sabi, cozy, homeless bachelor vibe is what I go for. And the good news is, whatever your decor style is, Wayfair has you covered. For decor, for every room in the house. I particularly use them for linens and stuff because I get a lot of guests, so I like to have multiples of sheets and stuff to keep everything refreshed. So get last minute hosting essentials, gifts for all your loved ones, and decor to celebrate the holidays for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair. Every style, every home.
Online privacy is one of those buzzwords that everyone says and no one really understands exactly what it means. I think most people assume that all their information is already out there, so it doesn't really matter. But what if I told you that there is a way to take back your personal information and fight against the biggest threats to your privacy? That's where today's sponsor, Incogni, comes in. So the biggest threat to your online privacy are data brokers. These are the companies that gather people's personal information and sell it for profit, like names and addresses and social media profiles, even social security numbers. So here's where Incogni comes in. They have powerful tools that work directly with the data brokers and people's search sites to remove your personal information. It's as simple as signing up and letting them become your personal data cleanup crew. So head over to incogni.com/AlivewithSteve to check out the various plans they offer and learn more about how you can protect yourself and your loved ones. Use code AlivewithSteve, all one word, at incogni.com/AlivewithSteve to get an exclusive 60% off an annual Incogni plan. That's incogni.com/AlivewithSteve, promo code AlivewithSteve.
So talk to me about creative play, because I feel like to the degree that I play as an adult, it's I mean, certainly meditative play, walking in the woods. I build forts out of sticks to this day.
Yeah.
But creative play, when I'm a very creative person. I'm not very creatively talented in many ways, but I do pursue a lot of that stuff just instinctively, right? And the most intense feeling that I can relate to play, that at least felt like that playground feeling for me, that completely embodied sort of 6-year-old, I am 1,000,000,000% into what I'm doing right now, is when I was writing music, like in a studio, you know, and just
flow.
Yeah, and just throwing ideas at things and misusing instruments and misusing gear. And my God, that's as much fun as I think as I've ever had, you know?
Yeah.
And I wonder if that, I'm assuming that was creative play.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it was pulling something out of you, right? You were using your like so many senses. You were maybe you were collaborating, but maybe not. Maybe it was, but you had, so probably some exploration or experimenting with the instrument, as well as some feeling of like that it's helping you tap into something that you are curious about inside of you, or just it's all happening so organically that it's not that, typically in flow, we're unaware of whether or not something is a toy or a tool, right? It's all just kind of happening. So creative play, I think that this is one that's particularly hard for adults who don't think of themselves as being creative.
Yeah.
And I think that part of that, adults kind of will stop identifying as creative at the point that their art class starts to get a letter grade, right? Which is, again, similar to what happens in youth sports or dancing. If you're not great at soccer, you might stop playing. If you're not good at drawing, you probably say, I'm not an artist, so I'm not going to take art classes, which has nothing to do with whether or not you like it, right? So if you like doing it, keep doing it. The outcome-oriented part that's, again, part of the school system, because we've scaled up learning in a way that there's this assessment part, and we do it in a way that's kind of blanket, so everybody is assessed similarly, if not exactly the same. Yeah. And so I think, with creative play, the most important thing for adults is to release judgment, because we are our harshest critic. So the first step often when somebody, aside from them saying I can't draw, or like, oh, I'm bad at drawing. It's like, well, what's bad at drawing? Drawing is taking something from your head and putting it on the page or bringing it into life, or it's the process of discovery through creating. Who can say what's a good or bad drawing? And also, even if it doesn't look anything like the thing that you imagine in your head or the thing that you're looking at, nobody has to see it, right? Art isn't about an outcome all the time. It can be it's a process. In the same way that, designing for play is also playful. Like, play isn't just an outcome of design. Play can be the process of design. So, with creative play, you don't have to come out with a song. Maybe you had some songs afterward, and then that was fun.
I didn't care about the songs. I just wanted to keep making them.
Exactly.
I did not care.
Yeah.
As long as we could be in the studio, tinkering and messing around, like, that was fine. In fact, playing the songs live is something I dreaded. I just wanted to be in the studio.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make it. I wanted the process,
Yeah. That's such a good example of all three of the elements that adults need for free play, which is release judgment, embrace possibility, which is like be in it enough to discover what's gonna come, right? Mm-hmm. We get hung up on, no, we should be working toward a song. It's like, well, we just had that weird riff. Let's follow that. It's unrelated to the song. And then reframe success. That success isn't that you have a song, but that success is that it felt great and you had a good time with, making music. So it's kind of a rethinking of how we approach what our preconceived notions are of what it looks like to be creative.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to go back to something you brought up a couple times, which is this idea that one of the things adults can do to access all of these different play styles and to access their inherent ability to play and their inherent ability to wonder and be curious is to release judgment. And that's hard. I'm wondering in your life if that's been easy for you. Have you always been able to access your sense of play by releasing judgment?
In the book, I have these drawings that are the diary of a dejected play voice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And because I was imagining some part of us, which I believe we all still have, we just have learned to not listen to it. We have a play voice that tells us, oh, your friend's shoe is untied, go step on it, right? Like, I identify also as a little mischievous, and I wonder if it's like, are you the youngest sibling by any chance?
Yes, I am. In fact, yes.
I am also the youngest sibling. So I feel like I was like, I recognize that spark in your eye.
Yeah. I would step on the shoelace.
Yeah. Much to the demise of like my older sister.
Yeah, my poor long-suffering sisters. Yes.
Yeah. They do not trust me for good reason. I proved myself untrustworthy time and time again.
Sure.
I get it. But I think I have the Diary of a Dejected Play Voice is kind of the me imagining that my play voice might at the end of the day kind of be thinking about like all of the play opportunities that we missed. Mm-hmm. And all the things that my play voice said, hey, go do that. Hey, this looks, and looking out for me and saying like, we love joy. That my drive to play is talking to you. And then my adult voice, which is often an echo of adults in our lives or culture, dominant culture. The adult voice is the one that is also looking out for you. It's trying to protect us, but that says, no, you'll look dumb, or like they'll laugh at you, like, Mm-hmm. And so being aware that there's like listening and tuning into the play voice when it talks to us is one thing, but then like being able to have a conversation with the adult voice and being like, okay, I know you're trying to protect me, but in fact, my friends know who I am. They will still love me if I, sing in the grocery store, and I'll be okay. It'll be worth it, right? So this kind of balance of recognizing that they're both looking out for us, but listening to the play voice whenever possible.
I love that, Cas. I love that.
Yeah. For me, the judgment part, I think when I'm designing, so a lot of my play is designing for play, that's when I get it the most. Like when I'm in public, I talk to everybody. I love walking my dog and chatting up strangers, and on the subway I'll talk to people, and they're usually like, "What are you?" But it's worth it at work sometimes, not all the time. But it feels great when I connect with someone, and the releasing judgment comes up in my creation phase more than anything. And that's where I really can roll deep with imposter syndrome. Yeah. And, what you don't know what you're doing. Why would you, you're going to kill children, everything comes out where I'm like, that they're going to lose a hand. Like you can't give a child a big wooden plank, So it's both voices I've heard and like my own, we all have a relationship with our self-doubt and maybe even a little bit of like, struggle remembering why we like ourselves or do what we do, right? So these things come out when we're vulnerable, which is in play. Yeah. Which is also why it's so powerful. Like it can have such a deep impact on who and how we are because it's deep.
Do you think that everyone has a play voice?
Absolutely. Because we're human.
Too. Me too.
I mean, it'll tell you different things based on who you are and how you're wired and how you played as a child. Stuart Brown is a genius neurologist who studies play, and he talks about play personalities, which are different than play types. Play types, you might have a tendency towards some more than others, but play types are kind of like unrelated to play personalities are who we are internally. Mm-hmm. How we're driven to play based on all of the factors that make us who we are. Mm-hmm. But I think, our play voices, all of them are still there. We just have to like find that, tune into it.
Yeah.
And I think the more you talk to her, the more you hear it, the more it's going to kind of tune you into how you might play, and you can start with, so when adults kind of say, okay, where do we start? I always like to start with the play memory. Remember some part of how you played as a child, and how you play now might be different. It probably will be quite different, but there's elements there that kind of relate. And just remembering what it felt like will, I think, help give you help make you brave enough to try.
I can do it right now. As even as you were saying that, I'm like, I remember how I played as a child. I was close to the ground, always.
Yeah.
I was outside in nature, smelling leaves and sticks, and it was intense. Like I remember this intensity to play and to rolling around and grabbing things, and it was kind of primal in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So important. I mean, I like whatever in the sun, I was aware like, it's getting dark. I gotta finish it, or like, I gotta figure out how to do this before the sun goes down, or before dinner time, whatever it is. Like, it was so important.
Yeah. Just the way you were doing that, like that, just the way, that's how it felt. And it was the most important and the most fun,
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. This is all such cool stuff. So I guess the big question for all of us that is absolutely explored in this wonderful book is, how do we create those conditions? How do we, as adults, create the conditions that allow us to listen for our play voice? And how do we recover our inherent wonder and curiosity and apply that?
Well, there are the three factors that I think will help a lot: the release judgment, embrace possibility, reframe success. Like, what are you actually after? And one of the things that I think I would be remiss to not also acknowledge is that right now, in particular, I think people, because of stress, because of uncertainty, people think that now's not the time, or like it's going to be harder to get there because we're distracted by all those things. Everything about the way that I think we've chosen to tell ourselves the story of how and where we are in community right now, as civilized, the way civilization is like not conducive to feeling empowered or playful. And in fact, the more that we play, the more we'll be able to continue doing what we do, finding hope, connecting with hope and wonder and joy, right? But the big one, I think, release judgment is the first step, because kind of trust yourself and you'll find it.
Yeah. I feel like that's a tough one too. And I think it might be the most important one. Well, listen, Cas, thank you for hiking past my house and happening on by.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's been lovely playing, and you're fantastic. And this book is legit full of not just great advice, but it's like really actionable. It's like you can apply these ideas to your own alive life. Like there's a lot of sense in here, in my view.
Thank you. That also, I have to give credit. I have a co-writer, Lydia Dinworth.
Right.
And our process was very playful. And a lot of the play our language play and our kind of conceptual play was really trying to make sure that it would make sense for people who aren't me, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I think you mentioned, like, we have this drive to play, and a lot of people who don't have that drive or are disconnected from that drive can still benefit from it. So I'm trying to speak to everybody that you don't have to be a toy designer to play.
Fantastic. Well, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for coming by, and I'm going to go listen to my play voice now. So
excellent. Thank
All
you,
right.
Steve.
There's a really nice lookout. If you go up the mountain that way, you'll hit the main trail.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice. And
Okay,
it's
I'll avoid the bear poop.
I would
yeah.
avoid the bear generally. That's what I do. So, all right. Bye, Cas.
Bye-bye.
Okay, that was awesome. I love Cas. That was a great conversation. I wrote a bunch of stuff down. Let's see. Oh, there's a difference between play and entertainment. Yeah. And it's an important distinction because entertainment is something that is consuming you based on someone else's vision, right? But play is different. Play asks something from you. It's generative. It draws something out of you, right? It's an important distinction. I wrote down, play for adults begins with releasing judgment, embracing possibility, and reframing success. Those are 3 fairly challenging things to do. So how do we do that, right? And that brings me to the last thing I wrote. Everyone has a play voice, and it's still there. We just have to tune it in and listen. Come on. So, yeah, the saying is play is the work of childhood. And I guess what that whole conversation was really about is how can we make our work the play of adulthood, which is a good question. Cas was saying it has something to do with letting go of inhibitions and judgments long enough that we can listen for our own play voice. Huh. Actually, would it be like super cheesy and corny if we just did that? I mean, yeah, obviously it would be very corny, but isn't it part of it about releasing inhibitions, judgments and stuff? Do you want to try it? I kind of want to try it. Do you want to try it? You do? Great. Okay. So let's just take a moment and listen for our play voices. See what comes up. Here we go. Okay. I don't know about you, but I found that very interesting. Thanks for coming by today. I really appreciate it. This means a lot. I got to get back to work, but you look great. Alive with Steve Burns is a Lemonada Media original. If you haven't subscribed to Lemonada Premium yet, now's the perfect time. You can listen to the show completely ad-free, plus you'll unlock exclusive bonus content from me as I reflect on this episode. Just press subscribe on Apple Podcasts, head to lemonadapremium.com to subscribe on any other app, or listen ad-free on Amazon Music with your Prime membership. That's lemonadapremium.com. Alive is hosted by me, Steve Burns, and produced by Jeremy Slutskin. Our editor is Christopher Champion Morgan. Our associate producer is Akshaz Tharabailu. Audio engineering by James Sparber. Lemonada's SVP of weekly programming is Steve Nelson. Executive producers are Jessica Cordova-Kramer, Stephanie Whittles-Wax, and me. We'll see you next week. And you look great, by the way.